How's it going, everybody? Today is just going to be an update, February Fantasy Stories update, because I have not, I've been behind my videos lately. I have found myself in a bit of a reading slump. So, besides the short stories I've been reading for the FFS, which has been going okay, I'm not enjoying. I'm not enjoying a lot of the stories I've been reading, but I'm still reading out of the same. There's two. So I read a classic, and then there's two books that I've been reading out of to get the rest of the prompts because uh, they're in there. I've been doing that, and other than that, like I was struggling because I think Wanderers took just so long. That was such a huge book, damn near 1,000 page book. I think it came around to like 800, I think. Um, but that took a while because it was so big and the world was so immersed that I had to pay attention and reread some stuff. And then the current book I'm reading, I'm loving, by the way, but it is another large because large large, not book, but large world, I guess. And it's a science fiction, which I'm trying to get more into these space operas. This one is hitting me. It's kind of hit or miss with me with science fiction. This one is hitting me so far where I like it. And then I have three books to show. So let's go right into FFS. So I read Fahrenheit 51, 451, Fahrenheit 451. Listened to it actually, and I enjoyed it. That was for the first week. The second week was Sword and Sorcery, which I picked out a few stories from a book called Rogues. I don't have it right now. I'm listening to all these things. Rogues, which is edited by George R. R. Martin. Now, that scared me for a second. I thought, I don't know what's going on. Rogues by George R. R. Martin. It's not just fantasy stories. I found out it is also a bunch of other. It's just scoundrels and stuff like that. Some of it takes place in our world. Some of it takes place in fantasy world. So I'm hitting a little bit of those in the Sword and Sorcery. Nothing really stood out for like those. There wasn't, we followed like a smuggler kind of guy going from town to town, and I believe that was written by. I don't have it with me. God darn it! I'm sorry, but that it didn't really. None of those books are really shining right now, so I can't really remember too much. I know I read a few Sword and Sorcery stuff, but the second book that I'm listening to and picking out stories is Urbane Arcana, and that's actually doing. I've got a few stories I can talk about. Uh, Jonathan Mayberry. This is probably the best one, the standout one. Um, he has a vampire short story, uh, and basically it's set in a medieval world, and vampires have basically conquered the world, and it's just these last ditch effort by a group of men and women group of humans, if you will, who are just trying to keep stay with it. What am I trying to say? I'm having problems here. They're just barely surviving, and they come up with a last ditch effort, basically to go visit some witches in the nearby castle. And I won't say what's going on there because you should read the Jonathan Mayberry one. I cannot figure out for the life of me what the name was because I wasn't really paying attention to the names. I guess I'm doing a horrible job at this FFS stuff. So for fuck's sake, I don't know what to do here. Yeah, the Jonathan Mayberry one. There's also a really good one I listened to that it technically should count for urban fantasy, but I had to listen to it. Because it just kind of I was working and it just kind of flowed into the next story, and I didn't want to take my ears away from this. This is basically if and I apologize again, I cannot remember the author name. Ah, man, but the story was so good, and I really wish that they would continue on with that. And I was trying to find it as soon as it was done to try to find like if this is going to be a bigger world. So basically, if you have J.R.R. Tolkien's world, a portal opens up and collides with ours, and ogres come out, and basically in that world. is basically, Sauron won and has been controlling the entire world, and there's like pockets of elves. There's no humans in this one, so it's not really, J.R. Tolkien's world, but it's just elves and orcs, and the orcs won, and there's pockets of elves out in this world who are again trying to stay alive, and somehow the orcs get a hold. They're able to open a portal into our world. They go into, and it opens up into Central Park, New York City, and they slaughter a bunch of people in Central Park before like the cops and the army take down this platoon of orcs that came through, and they proceed to keep coming through at different points in the United States and the world. And finally, the world gets together with a coalition and sends a team into the orc lands to basically go and shut down whatever is causing these portals to open up into our world. So you follow this platoon, but it's really written really weird. It's written in a second person. So it's like the author is telling you what you're doing, which I didn't really care for. I think it'd be a lot better if it was either first person, or hell, it would be so much better if it was third person, following different characters. If there's any books like that, that would be awesome. I know Doom kind of did that, but that Doom is a little different. That's hell, portal opens up on Mars. That's a little different. This like war between two dimensions would be absolutely phenomenal if somebody actually wrote like a series. If anyone has any idea if there's anything like that, let me know, because holy moly, that was a great story, and I really hope that opens up to a bigger like thing sometime. So we got those two stories. And then dark fantasy, which I'm going to hit some dark fantasy here. There's a few more vampire stories in this that could definitely check those boxes off for the final week here. And then urban fantasy is the final week. Excuse me. This week is dark fantasy, urban week, or urban fantasy. So that should check all the boxes there. So what else am I currently reading besides that? Besides FFS. So I finished House of Assassins. I don't have it. I returned it back to the library because I did go to the library today, and I picked up 3 more books because why not? Let's just fill my house with books and never read them. I gotta figure this out. I gotta stop. I see stuff I want to read, so I go pick it up because I still have 5 library books that are waiting, and I've had to renew them, and I need to figure this out, how to read more stuff. But I should say I am enjoying what I'm reading, so there's that. So I finished House of Assassins. That's the second book in the Sons of the Black Sword, and I think I'll do a full review, maybe spoiler review when I get done with the entire trilogy. Can't really talk too much about House of Assassins because it's just right after the first book by Larry Correia. I highly recommend reading that stuff. He's got a really good urban fantasy series called Monster Hunter International. It's basically monsters exist in our world, but we never hear about them because Monster MHI destroys them before they can destroy us. And it's about you follow a character, and I believe his name is Zane or something like that. It's first person. Again, I'm not doing a terribly good job of describing some of this stuff because for some reason I'm terrible at my job. So Monster Hunter International is phenomenal. I highly recommend reading those. Yeah, you just follow this monster hunter who goes around and kills vampires, werewolves, zombies, stuff like that. All right, so finished House of Assassins. That's gone. Wanderers is done. Finished that. So currently reading. This is the book that I am currently just enveloped in. This is the sci-fi. The Star is Now Unclaimed. I will probably do a little review on this. This is Drew Williams, so I won't talk too much about it. And I did kind of talk about this. Sorry, I don't know what's going on out there. I I will talk. I did talk about this in a few videos ago. But yeah, it's a sci-fi epic. Uh, I'm very jumpy today, apparently. Plus, I got the windows. It's kind of hot, so I've got the windows open. Okay, what did I pick up? I picked up. Let's show off two of these first. So, Age of Myth, the Age of the First Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. I've been told that's the second, like his second works. I guess you should read the first. That was kind of a prequel series to Michael J. Sullivan's. This is the Theft of Swords. This is the Rhaeria Revelations. Rhaeria, is that how you say it? Well, Volume 1, I believe this has 2 books in it. Not 100%. Oh, this is This is the Crown Conspiracy and Avanpartha. It's he published those by himself independently, and then they binded it up into this thick boy. Holy moly! But yeah, I'm told that's very good. I'm interested in that, so I'll probably pick this up. I think I read this a while ago, but I don't remember, and maybe I only read the first story. All right, whatever. I'm into that. All right, and then I picked up the Rise of Empire, the Volume 2, and I got the third one. Might be coming. I don't know. I think it's only on. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, maybe not. All right, final book. This is going on way too long. I haven't read this one yet, and I've been. I just wanted to, because I saw a lot of these movies when I was younger, and yeah, these are 19 short stories by the King, Stephen King, that is. And Stephen King and I have an interesting relationship. I'm not good. I don't like a lot of his new stuff. I think the last book that was actually somewhat interesting to me was Under the Dome, which I enjoyed that one. That's the last book I really cared for that he wrote. Didn't care for a lot of his new stuff. I did like his older stuff. And this was published, I think, back when, in my opinion, he was good. So I don't know when this was published. I'm seeing a lot of 70s, so maybe in the 70s or 80s. Oh yeah, 76, 77, 78. So I think this was in 78. This is that. It's Night Shift. You can't really read that, can you? That's a little weird. Night Shift, Stephen King. This has the, it's got Jerusalem's Lot, Graveyard Shift, Trucks, which became that Maximum Overdrive movie. The Lawnmower Man. I haven't seen that movie. Children of the Corn's in here. Is that it? There might be some other books in here that change it in movies that I don't know. So, yeah, this is some of his older stuff that I'm going to peruse through and read. So that's what I got, everybody. I guess take care and enjoy reading.